Christina, good morning.
Morning, Eileen. What are we talking about today?
Oh my gosh, you were talking to me about boundaries last week, and I've been thinking a lot about that. And the holidays are the biggest time of the year where boundaries really could help, right?
Yes.
Like, how many of us were raised to be like, not to rock the boat, not to like hurt people's feelings by not showing up to somebody's house if they invite us? And of course, we love to be invited. We love to be thought of during the holidays. But at the same time, we need to remember that we need our own space. I mean, even though the holidays are coming, we still have responsibilities. We still have houses to clean. And some of us have kids to shuttle all over God's green earth, sports schedules, their social activities, our spouses' social activities. So there's so many things. And so often we end the holidays feeling depleted and tired and exhausted when we should be so filled up with love and friendship and happiness because we don't honor what we need at the time we need it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And, this time of the year, our energy kind of wants to be calmer. Our energy, we want to conserve energy. We want to like nest with our loved ones and, yeah, go outside, do some winter activities. But it all ends up revolving around this couple of days where, at Thanksgiving, Christmas, or whatever holidays people are celebrating, because there's a wide varieties of holidays. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the purpose of the holidays was originally to bring people together during these dark times. Um, but we got to find a balance between spending time with community and cherishing that time and coming together in these dark days, and taking care of ourselves. Like self care doesn't stop. The need for self care doesn't stop. And we have to honor what our bodies are telling us. And I've been giving people radical permission to not go to holiday celebrations. Scandalous. Um,
Sometimes I think we just need to hear that. Sometimes I think we need to be encouraged that we're not a bad person. So often we just want to be liked, we want to be loved. But what about who's going to love us? We need to do that for ourselves so that we have that love to offer other people. If we feel like we have tuned into what we're needing in a moment, whether it's, taking a night off from one celebration so that you can go to a second celebration, um, that's how we present our best self because we remembered to put that oxygen mask on us first before we offered it to somebody else. And I think
yeah,
so often we forget, everyone's like, you have to be a good person to other people. Well, of course, but we have to be good to ourselves
especially during
first.
the holidays,
Yes,
especially during the
especially.
holidays.
But
Don't
if we're
make
good
waves
to
during the
ourselves
holidays.
first, we have so much more energy and so much more wherewithal to share with other people.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know.
and every day can be a holiday. Like you can spend time with your loved ones any
Mhm.
time of day. You can have a special meal any day of the week, if you arrange it in advance, right?
Yeah.
With people. And what really drove this point home for me was a few years ago. I think the first year my wife and I were together, actually, um, around Christmas or Thanksgiving time, she was going to go to her brother's house, and I was just feeling really sad. Because like my mom was sick and died like right after the holidays, a
Mhm.
bunch of years ago, and it just still was a sad thing for me. And I'd also like still just moved 2 years prior away from my family in New York, and I was really sad. Like I could have rallied, like I probably would have had a good time hanging out with her family, but I just really felt this need. Like I wanted to be sad, and I'm like, oh, and then I'm going to be sad by myself. But I needed to allow space for that sadness. And yeah, like I kind of went through these cycles of like, woe is me, and like feeling the sadness and all that. But in the end, I ended up feeling like I made the right decision. And my wife wasn't mad at me. Her brother wasn't mad at me. Like we still developed a friendship, um, and I felt better. And actually, the next year, and subsequent years, I found it actually easier to go through these holiday celebrations with people because I had allowed myself that space to grieve.
That's a really good point because so often the holidays are reminders of sad things for people, or they're missing somebody, or it's the first year without somebody. And so often they feel like if they surround themselves with a bunch of people, they won't be sad. They won't feel that discomfort of being really unhappy or really sad and missing somebody. But if they take the time to lean into that and work through how they're feeling and give themselves permission to feel sad, because grief, there's nothing, nobody's grief is the same. We all experience it differently. And I really think it's important how you said, like, you gave yourself that holiday to really lean into missing your mom. It was such a fresh loss, and you honored that. And now going forward, you are able to still miss your mom, but at the same time be present with your wife and her family. And that's huge. And I think so often we gloss over that because we're so afraid of the negative feelings and the sad feelings that come with grieving somebody. So yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. Good point.
Yeah, and as much as I would love to like fly back home during, you know, to New York to see my brother and nephews, tickets are expensive and
Yeah,
travel
right?
is like a swarming like hot mess during that time too. So I'd
Yeah.
much rather travel outside the holiday season because again, any day can be a celebration and every day should be a celebration. Like we shouldn't I don't want to should on myself, but ideally we don't want to wait until the holidays to go see people we haven't seen in a while. And
Yeah.
sometimes we can't afford it and people will put themselves in debt to go to these festivities
Yeah.
for the sake of not upsetting someone else.
Yeah.
um, I mean, you
That's
can
true.
connect on Zoom, you can
Yeah.
connect online and still have some sort of conversation with the person.
Yeah,
um,
without putting yourself in the poorhouse. That's a huge thing because if as much as you want to see somebody for the holidays, really good point. Again, Nurse Dynamite, that we're not doing ourselves any favors by putting ourselves in the credit card, debt so that we can go spend time with other people. I'm sure that person that loves you so much would love to see you. And if Zoom is all you can manage right now financially, then Zoom is better than nothing. The fact that you want to go and see them is what I think it's all about, like
the
making an
intention.
effort. I think that means the world to them. They would hate to think that you went in debt to go and see them. So keep that in mind. Protect yourself. They're still going to love you.
And what started our inspiration for this conversation was you were talking about the impact on women.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
So since the beginning of time, women have been raised to be the nurturer, the caregiver, the provider in a lot of senses. Um, we're the ones that tend, not all of us, but for the most part, we're the ones that try to make the holidays magical for our families. We're the ones shopping at the grocery store, fighting all the crowds, making the food list, getting all the gifts, wrapping all the gifts.
Cooking the 7 courses
Right.
and breakfast.
Organizing the schedule, making sure the kids have nice clothes to wear for the holidays, scheduling in church if practicing your faith is something that's important to you. So there's like all the things. And so often we don't ask for help. Or we feel like we're a failure if we take a break from something or if we ask for help. And I guess I can see how that's been ingrained to us, but we're old enough now to know better. So we did what we could when we didn't know better. Now we know better. Asking for help is not a bad thing. And
Saying no
if you
is not a bad thing.
right. And if you feel like you're swimming upstream without, help, slow down a little bit. Take some things off your plate. You can still have a very magical Christmas or a holiday or however it is you celebrate without killing yourself in the process. And I think so often we just need to hear somebody, like say it's going to be okay. You have the permission to do what you need to do for yourself first so that you can take care of everybody. So yeah, I
And
want
we're
to see
here.
women. I want to see women like just rock this Christmas. I do. I want to see it. I want them to feel good at the end of it and not like they, you know, slipped in all tired and, gross from working so hard. I want them to enjoy their holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And so we're here to give you permission, watching
yes,
audience,
permission
to
granted.
do you during the holiday season. Um, Honor your own wishes and desires this holiday season because it matters. What do you want for yourself and your health in
Yeah.
this holiday season?
Yeah,
What will
absolutely.
help you feel renewed?
Consider what you want your holiday to look like. What was it like last year? What do you wish you could have changed? How do you want it to be this year? So this was fun, Christina. Thanks for encouraging me to jump on here with you and talk
Yeah,
about
and
it.
if you find yourself going down the slippery slope of, not setting boundaries this holiday season, I have a boundary workshop in February that I'm going to be
Yeah.
starting to help you strengthen that resolve. Um, December 12th, goal and vision workshop with Ilene, but you can do it. Like, we give you permission. We totally give you permission to do you this holiday season.
Yeah. Enjoy
And that is
yourself.
how you can spread more love in the world, is by honoring yourself.
Yeah, and you'll have honest cheer in your heart going forward, and being around people will feel good because you haven't overwhelmed yourself in doing all the things.
Yeah, I'm really
So,
glad we had this conversation. Give me a virtual high five, Ilene.
boom!
Yeah, awesome.
All
Well,
right.
thanks for watching and listening with us, and feel free to comment if anything was helpful for you.
Awesome. Thank you.